Howdy y'all and welcome to Dakota Daydreams. This week we'll be checking out the Bedside Garden, episode 20. And I was playing a video game with my partner this afternoon and looked over and this plant was all flopped over. So my partner asked if I had any extra string and tied it up really nicely for me. And then I found a couple seed germination cups that had fallen around the table somehow. And they're germinating, but I have no idea what they are. So we'll get those into the hydroponics after I show y'all this tie up a little bit better because it kept trying to reach for either one of the skewers or the other, and it wouldn't really recognize either one as close enough to where it wanted to lean at different times. So what my partner's done for me is tied it between both of them and then also gently bind the main stem around mainly around one of them, but also around the top of the other one. And then used the string to stabilize it between, like at the base. And so far, having it like this, facing towards the light, has really helped, and it's stayed upright since it's been tied up. Now, onto the hydroponics, and I'm immediately noticing something's affecting this cucumber that I have in the front, and it's also back on the watermelon seed that I was trying to root out. So sadly, this year I will not be able to continue Watermelon Wars because it is very close to the end of the month. By the time this video posts, it'll already be May. So I can't restart and make the deadline at this time. But I will keep trying with watermelons this year, and I'll learn more and try again next year. And I've lost one of my baskets, so I only have 3 new ones to work with, or 11 total now, until I can get some more. And I have 3 new ones set up with the sponges that I've already hydrated with hydrogen peroxide, just to make sure there's nothing microscopic still in it, or from the environment, or whatever, just to make sure it's clean, really. And then I have found seed A, I'm going to call it, which has a really long root, and I'm hoping will adapt to the sponge because the top of the root, or like the very end of it, is a little yellowed because it was over the water and drying out. But it still has green up at the very top. So we're going to give it a chance. And then found seed B, which has started to develop an entire little root system. It's got at least 3 or 4 branches of root going. So I'm really excited and hopeful that this one will take to the sponge and grow really well because it's already developed a root system instead of just one little root. And then this one is a cucumber seed, I'm sure of. And it still has the seed on it, but picking at it with my fingernail just after I took the picture, I was able to get the seed off of it. So hopefully it'll continue to grow instead of, I think it's that the seed dries out on them and then they start to mold in it, is what I'm having happen. I'm trying to figure out how to work around it, but I think that's what's happening when I have the seeds that go in with them, and then they just go gucky in like 2 days. Now, my question to any fellow gardeners that may be watching is, how big does this lettuce need to be before I start pulling leaves off of it? Because it's looking pretty tasty. I might even try it by the end of this video. While I decide whether or not I'm gonna pull some lettuce off this thing, let's check out Catalog of the Week. And this week's catalog is the Man Lake Bumblebee Catalog, or Honeybee Catalog, actually. It's a bee catalog this week. We open up to a letter to dear fellow beekeepers, and they explain their history and journey as they've become the largest supplier of beekeeping equipment, supplies, and they have quite a lot of bees available. They also have a very detailed index right up front so you can find exactly what you're looking for or want to learn about. Because I've never kept bees before, and it's really nice to see all of the different things there are and where I can learn more about them all in one place. And then they have a nucleus hive, or nuc, for pickup. And this is where you can go to one of their locations and pick up a little 5 frame uh, box of bees, essentially, that will have a queen and some workers to start a hive with, I believe, if I read all that right. Again, I don't really know much about bees, I just think they're really cool. And Man Lake makes it pretty simple to learn about the new varieties because they have all of the little points of that breed, the best things and why beekeepers choose that breed listed right up there. So you can get a little point list of why this one, why that one, and what makes them different. And I really like that they have a variety of different starter kits that have everything you may need to get started if you just want to give beekeeping a try and have $1,000 to try a new hobby. But, someday I'll get there. One thing I thought was really cool was they have a Max Wax cell foundation that has an increased wax coating and helps the bees produce their honey faster, I think, because of not having to work so hard on making the cells for it because it's already started for them. They even have mesh transport bags, so when you're moving a hive of bees, you can keep the bees in the hive. And the variety of individual supplies and parts. So if you got a kit and need a new part, or if you don't want to get a kit and maybe build your own kit out of individual supplies, they have that too. But I think my favorite supply that I'll probably be getting as soon as I have a farm, whether or not it's big enough to have bees on yet, is these straps, which are apparently storm, skunk, and bear proof. So that sounds like a pretty great pallet strap. And after discovering that, I finally learned what bees eat in the winter. Because I've never known what a domestic bee would be fed. I know wild bees probably either hibernate or have their own stores to eat off of. But when we're harvesting their honey, like what do they eat? They have insect food patties that they make up. Many different kinds for many different reasons. And they also offer several different seed mixes with flowers, clovers, all kinds of things. And I thought this was a great price for a pound of pollinator friendly seeds. So even if I'm not ready to keep bees myself, I may end up ordering a bag of seeds from them to fill in a lawn someday. Another really cool thing is the Hambly Queen Dial, which is like a bee queen calendar essentially that you can use to track where she is in the life stages of a bee. And I think that is definitely a very cool thing to have. And I kind of wish they made that for more types of livestock, honestly. So you could track the life cycle on the barn wall. and not have to like just keep it mental all the time. Man Lake is also the first place I have ever seen junior or child size beekeeping suits. And y'all, I looked when I was a kid because I wanted bees because I love honey, and I've never seen them before. But if you've got kids that are begging to have bees because they love honey, they want to raise their bees for, I don't know, 4-H or just 'cause, Man Lake has suits for them. They also have a honey stick filling kit. Now, I love honey sticks. They're one of my favorite sweet treats of all time. And if I ever end up with bees, I'm for sure gonna learn how to make my own honey sticks very shortly after. Because, oh boy, does that look fun. And then you could make them any flavor you wanted. You just have to mix it into the bucket before filling them into the straws. They even have candle making guides and then candle molds. So you have something to do with all of the beeswax you're getting from harvesting the honey if you get bees. Very excited about that. I used to make candles when I was a young kid. Um, and I would love to make candles again one day. They even have tons of books on recipes to make things from byproducts, cooking with honey, and how to tend bees, how to deal with the issues that occur with bees. Books on all of it. And even some honey throat drops and honey barbecue sauce tucked on the edge. And then towards the end, they list all of their affiliates, farms they work with, farms that may have started by getting their colonies from them that continue to work with them on bee genetics, and a lot more. So it's really cool to look through and be able to find some more local companies and some other companies that are small starts getting a shout out from a larger company in their catalog. And then close to the back of the catalog, but not at the very end, we have the order form, and it is printed on a different type of paper, more of a cardstock, so you can flip through and feel for it if you're looking for it. The very end of the catalog is a detailed anatomy of the hive and description of what each part's technical term is, what it does, its job, and an idea of what the construction looks like generally on most of those parts. And if you'd like to grab your own copy of the Manlight catalog and learn little bit more about bees, or maybe even get your own bees this year, and then have your own pollinators so you don't have to wonder where your pollinators have been or are coming from, check out the link in my description below. So this leaf on the mango melon has been apparently pressing against the hydroponics, and it's kind of started to turn it on the edge. So I'm just going to clip that. But what I've noticed is the melon leaves are breaking down a lot slower than some of the other leaves that I've been putting on the soil. So I don't really want to add it on top of where I've left the last one. And I'm just going to look around and find where has the least amount of leaf color cover and try to break it up right there and see if that way I can try to keep the soil a little bit covered to try and hold in some of the moisture so it's not evaporating from the top and the bottom, because these pots do have built-in drainage, so that also means that I'm like the water can evaporate from the bottom too. And the Cherokee purple that I broke when I moved over, has leaves starting to form. The one that has been okay is getting some height to it and finally starting to figure out it's supposed to grow up, not sideways. And I'm watching this seed back here. I'm pretty sure it's one of the cucumbers, but little, not too sure. Um, but I've already had to drip hydrogen peroxide on it a couple of times for getting a little fuzzy at me, but never fuzzy enough to actually pull it. Because it is still growing, it's still trying, but it's gonna have to open up those leaves and start acting right soon. Now, this lettuce, on the other hand, didn't mean to clip it there, but it's time to try this lettuce out because it looks so good and the leaves are getting so long. They're kind of in the way, so I'm gonna eat them. And it's kind of hard to describe the taste because it's kind of between a spinach and a butter crunch a little bit. Like the initial taste while you're chewing the lettuce, it's very spinachy, but the aftertaste is pretty butter crunch like. So now I've officially had my first snack out of the garden, and I really like it. I have no idea what kind of lettuce it is. It could either be a La Rosa, probably not, because I think those are red. Salad bowl, maybe? Green salad bowl would make sense. It was one of the ones in the blend, and it feels salad bowl-like to me. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I grow more lettuce eventually. Either way, it tastes like it has a decent iron content, which is great for me. I need greens with high iron, and I like it. So I'm gonna start pulling snacks off of it when I want a green treat. And now it's time for the Flowers Everlasting Spotlight, where I take a moment to remind y'all to take a moment and capture a flower, any temporary flower, and the memory that goes along with it, so that we can immortalize those flowers forever, and then eventually one day have a little hashtag Flowers Everlasting 2025 that we can search to see what were we doing that year. How were we feeling? And how did we capture those memories? It's a scrapbook challenge. And I try to hold up an honorable mention section so that I can go around the YouTube gardens and see what y'all are growing and what y'all have growing on. And this week, I saw Mike's Chaotic Gardening telling everybody happy spring and sharing these gorgeous tulips. And I mean, come on, aren't tulips like one of the most classic spring flowers? I think my favorite two spring flowers are probably tulips and buttercups, if I had to pick any. And Miss Cici from Cici's Texas Garden was harvesting some chamomile for her tea. And these flowers are beautiful. Like, you just already know that chamomile tea is going to be way better than anything you get at a tea bag from the grocery store. Those are fresh, live, gorgeous flowers. And thank you for dreaming with me. Please leave a comment down below and let me know you were here so I can say hey. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to tap the thumbs up and leave me a like so the algorithm knows you liked the video. And then it'll show you more of my videos and show more people my videos so more people can like it. Make sense? I think so. If you'd like to see the bedside garden from the very beginning, check out the bedside garden playlist. And if you'd like to check out all of the challenges that I've seen since I've started gardening here on YouTube, check out the Garden Challenge Rulebook. And until next time, take care of yourself and keep your head in the clouds.